In this video, we're going to go over the Thinking It Through section on page 161. Question number 1, describe the rights and responsibilities of Canadians. The right to believe what we like, association with others, and to express our opinions means we have the responsibility not to promote hatred or associate for the purpose of breaking the law. We have the responsibility to protect the rights of others. The right of citizens to vote or run as a candidate means we have the responsibility to become involved in the elections and vote when an election is called. The right to enter or leave Canada and to live and work where we please means that we have the responsibility to not enter or leave Canada for the purpose of breaking the law. Having mobility rights also means that we have the responsibility to respect the people that are already living in the area where we want to live and work. The right to a safe life, humane treatment, a fair trial if accused, and to take an issue to court means that we have the responsibility not to threaten the safety of another person, not to treat people inhumanely, not to lie or give false testimony in court, and not to take an issue to court unless other methods of resolving the issue have been tried first. The right to live and work regardless of race, religion, ethnic origin, color, gender, age, and mental or physical ability means that we have to respect other people's religions, race, age, and so on. Having language rights means we have the responsibility to learn to communicate in at least one of the two official languages. Having Aboriginal rights protected means that we have to respect those rights guaranteed in the treaties, even if it means that the people of other ethnic groups do not have equal access to those same rights. Question number 2, why do we need a government? To protect our rights and freedoms and to negotiate disagreements that arise, decisions for the common good. Government is responsible for the well-being and maintenance of the environment, resources, and relationships with other countries, as well as ensuring people have safe, comfortable lives. Thinking critically. Question number 3, what is fairness? What does it mean that everyone should be treated the same? Or does it mean that treating everyone as they deserve to be treated? Fairness means treating everyone as they deserve to be treated in a manner that respects their rights and freedoms. Treating everyone equally is almost impossible and distorts the idea of fairness. Some people will always need more help than others, and a fair society will help the people who need the help the most. Question number 4. How does Alyssa exercise her rights and responsibilities as a Canadian? Alyssa has the right to her own beliefs, to meet with the people she wants, and to live and work where she wants. She helps everyone to be treated equally by helping Inuit people with environment, health, and social economic issues. Now, how do you exercise those rights and responsibilities? I'd really love it if you shared that, because I know there's many good examples of what you guys do with your responsibilities as a Canadian. Chapter focus question. How does government work in Canada? Question number 5. What are the advantages and challenges of having a democratic government in Canada? The advantages are that people have the right to decide who represents them and the right to speak out against the government if we disagree with the decisions. People have the right to ask what a candidate values and the right to decide if they want to vote for that person. Because the representatives have to stand for re-election every 4 years, they try to make decisions that will get them re-elected. A challenge is that it is very expensive to hold elections and for candidates to advertise what they stand for. It also takes a long time to get a law changed or created. Canada is a very large country, and making sure that people have equal representation is difficult when much of the country is sparsely populated. Question number 6. Do you think voting should be voluntary, or should there be a law that all people are required to vote? Pro. Voting should be voluntary because we might not know what our candidates believe in and therefore choose not to vote. Or we might be busy or sick on election day. Plus, it would be very expensive to charge everyone who doesn't vote. The con would be voting would be mandatory by law so that the people who are elected really represent their constituents' views. We should all have to vote so that people don't become passive or apathetic about who is elected to run our government. And I always say to people, if you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain. And finally, question number 7. What groups or individuals have had to stand up for their right to equality in your school or community or in your province? Okay, so being in a closed community where everyone's the same, you might not have equality issues jumping out in your mind, but I can think of many examples where people were at the farmers market and mistreated because they were a Hutterite, which was totally wrong. Um, if we take a look at provincially, we can definitely take a look at many of our minority peoples, especially the First Nations people. Many minorities, especially First Nations, have been victims of bullying and have to stand up for their right to be treated humanely. We've heard many things in the news about the missing and murdered Native women's hearings and hearings and initiatives to help prevent missing and murdered Native people. And they've groups have formed to help set up information and to publicize the fact that many of our First Nations women's murders go unsolved. Many Saskatchewan unions try to stand up to their employers to fight for fair and competitive wages, and the Human Rights Commission in Saskatchewan will listen to complaints about people being treated unfairly.